me again, Linda McGrath. Hope you're all doing good. So, as you all know, because you've been here before, there's a grassroots group of Hampton residents working to put before the voters a warrant article to remove the voting machines and to go back to hand counting our ballots on election night. The voting machines should be a really simple machine, I would think. All they have to do is tally up the little bubbles. So why aren't we allowed to see the source code, how it works? In the Wyndham, New Hampshire audit, the machines were not able to reproduce the reported results, even taking into account the folded ballot issue that they found. I would much rather trust my neighbors in Hampton than a machine that's owned by a foreign government. I was really excited because this board had a chance to vote to put it before the residents, and I just want to thank Regina for supporting it. You're always thinking of the little guy, Regina, and doing what you think is best for the Hampton residents, who pay 80% of the taxes in town. So now our grassroots group, we're collecting signatures to do this. And not long ago, all elections were hand counted. Many countries still hand count. We would have hundreds of volunteers who would want to see a fair count. We'll save taxpayer money on expensive, unreliable machines, and it'll bring us together. How? Trust. So many of us don't trust our elections today, but we can fix this. Breaking down trust in voting results is the surest way to undermine democracy. So I just want to say to Hampton that we can do this. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lytariz. I'm a Hampton resident. I know it's 3 minutes minimum or maximum. I mean, what I want to say is just not enough time. I have several people with me. Is there any way that I can yield their time to me, or they can come up and yield their time to me? I mean, there's just no way I can.
It's not allowed, so we'll start at 3 from now.
Well, I mean, there's just no way I'm going to be able to get everything in. It's just, I mean, I could read 3 minutes, and each person could come up and read 3 minutes.
To that, yeah.
I mean, but the problem with that, and this is obviously my right, and if people can't.
Unfortunately, it's our rules, it's 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's our rules, so we can make an exception if someone from the public is willing to give up their 3 minutes, and they're a Hampton resident.
I'll give up mine, and I am a resident.
I'm a resident, I don't need to.
I'll give up my time.
All right, I'll make that motion to, we have 3 people, so that's additional 9 minutes. If you
Yes,
feel
well.
to, reserve that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't think she did.
4 people that are willing to do that, 4 residents.
Do I have a second? You got 3 minutes, sir.
I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, unfortunately, I don't have all the time I want to speak, but real quickly, my name is Steve Lytariz. I'm a Hampton resident and taxpayer. I own real estate here. I've been living here since October 2019. I'm one of the grassroots movement people that we've been protesting on High Street and over on Lafayette Road adjacent to Old Salt. So, long story short, October 23rd, Saturday, police officer came over. He stated he was called by a local business people saying that, you know, we were loud and harassing people, and I just said, no, that's not true. It's just to the contrary. Cars were driving by, you know, screaming, swearing at us, verbal abuse, assault. So he said, you're not doing anything wrong. He says, continue forward what you're doing, and you're well within your rights. Fast forward this past Saturday, which was November 6th. We were protesting. We set up about 11 o'clock in the morning, right about as we're setting up. Selectman James Waddell came over and confronted us. He started filming us that I perceived in a menacing manner, complaining about one of the protesters had a sign and it said F Biden. And I told Mr. Selectman Waddell, I just said, you know, this is First Amendment rights. It's not my sign and it's protected by the First Amendment. And there's no discussion on that. It's really, I know it may be offensive, but that's just the way it is. So we went back and forth for a few minutes, and it was unfortunate. And I just told him, I said, hey, listen, you know, we don't want to be harassed here. We're protesting peacefully. The police gave us the stamp of approval when they came over. It was a sergeant. You know, we've gotten a lot of people who are beeping the horn, supporting us. We're basically addressing that we perceive to be national issues that affect every state, including Hampton, New Hampshire, from COVID mandates to CRT to whatever people want to protest. That's guaranteed by the First Amendment. So when Mr. Selectman Waddell filmed us, he did it, you know, without our consent. I know it's in the public, but the way he approached us, it was unprofessional and menacing, and I don't appreciate it. And he just kept going on and on. I'm also a retired federal agent, and I just told him to leave here. He said, I have a right as much as you do, and I told him, you're correct, you do. But you protest peacefully with us, and I did tell him, I said, if you don't leave us alone, you don't self harass us, I will arrest you. I do have arrest powers, I am a federal agent. He left, he went over, showed the video to the store owner over at Wicked Flannel, whom I perceived to be who made the initial complaint. Long story short, he uploaded the video on social media, basically to shame us, which is unfortunate. I believe that Selectman Waddell acted outside the scope of his authority. He acted in bad faith. He violated the oath of his office of the town of Hampton. He eroded public trust when he did this. And
Wrap it up now, so.
Pardon me?
We're past this week, so you can wrap it up.
Okay. So I'm concerned. I'm concerned about an elected town official approaching us, concerned about our flag. I mean, it's protected speech. If you look under the Supreme Court case of New York Times versus Taylor, versus Sullivan, excuse me, it said, and I paraphrase, that despite how bombastic or offensive speech is, it's protected. So I just think it's unfortunate that Selectman Waddell came over in the position he did and then filmed it and uploaded it to social media. Me being a law enforcement official, I don't appreciate that.
All right, thank you very much. Anybody else from the public wish to speak?
Are we allowed to if we gave up our time?
No, we didn't drop your time.
My name is Jessie Decock. I live at 428 Lafayette, and I just want to say, like, as someone who lives there, I am there every day. I work from home. So on Fridays, there's always an event, and you can hear people, and on Saturdays. And when I tell you, people are excited. People are beeping their horns. They're excited about what's going on in the corner. And to hear somebody being called a radical in a radical movement is really bothersome to me. Like, there are things that we should, if we want to call somebody a radical, or look at a perspective of a radical, BLM caused $4 billion worth of damage. They don't even leave a piece of paper on the street. There is nothing out there. And we're calling people radicals for exercising their freedom of speech. Where have we gone as a society? Like, literally, where have we gone? And I want to just offer you this as a perspective. I have a client, I can't say who they are, but their competitor is Raytheon. And when I was working pre-COVID, every Thursday, if you go past Raytheon in Andover, every Thursday morning at 8 a.m., there are people holding up peace signs, and right at the gates, they're standing there protesting. Do you know what? Never in my life have I ever called them a radical. Never have I ever said any of those things. I laughed. I thought it was funny. You know, that's just my perspective. But to call people radicals in 2021, we're going through so much, and we know that these things on a federal government are not right. We can all say that. So we really need to put in perspective when we call somebody and use our choice of words correctly. especially when we select someone from our town. The people have selected them. And then we have the audacity to go and film them and call people radicals. We voted you in and we can vote you out.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak?
Hi, Angela Skinner, 6th Street, Hampton. I'm listening to these people and I'm so in agreement with why aren't our elected officials backing us up instead of backing us into the wall? You know, we don't wanna be herded, we wanna be heard. And that's what's happening. What's going on, you know, my thing is election integrity. That's the platform I'm standing on. If we don't have that, we don't have anything. We cannot go home and say, gee, I wonder if that person really got the votes or not. I mean, there's so many things that are so questionable right now. And if we don't stand together as a community and as people, I don't care what background, I don't care where you're from, I don't care how you vote, I care nothing. Folks are folks, the way they vote, the way they eat, and the way they praise the Lord. That's it. People are frustrated and they're angry. And it's not right. You know, we've got people protesting for their jobs that last year were heroes. And, you know, everybody loved them. They were the essential heroes. And this year they're fighting, you know. I mean, we should all be getting together, especially you guys. We'll follow you if you go to Sununu and say, stop the madness in the state. Support the people that want some kind of honesty and fairness back into our state. We could be the state that does it all first or second. Florida's well on its way. But, you know, we need to come together and we need to stop criticizing each other and attacking each other over something. There's movements going on in this country that nobody can stop. Nobody. It's going. So, I mean, if you're not for us, then you're against us. What happens is we start to come to our own conclusions. Don't let that happen because they're not going to be good. And I agree with both of them. We have rights. We have rights and they're being trampled left and right all over the place, and we're not going to put up with it. We're going to fight back.
Thank you
That's
very
all
much.
I have to say.
Anyone else from the public wish to speak?
My name is Jim Avalon. I'm from Northampton. Am I still allowed to speak? Yeah, I was driving through Northampton from work, and I stopped at the Bogies, and I went up to this gentleman and thanked him for voicing his opinion and his view, which I agree with. And so I'm really shocked that it's bothersome because it doesn't. We hold signs for candidates all the time on streets, and we say pretty, not nasty things, but pretty strong things, and this is no different. He has every right to be there. It's freedom of speech. And I know it's annoying what I heard, but what really annoys me is that a selectman would go up to him, because the selectman carries some weight in Northampton and here. That's the real problem. And I find that pretty obnoxious. So I just like to say that, and I think it's good for people to express their opinion in a peaceful way, and that's what they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Regina Barnes, 95 Presidential Circle. Since I couldn't get a second as a selectman, I'm going to speak as a citizen because I am one of you. And I believe in Selectman Waddell's post. It was also stated that it is not the image that Hampton wants. Well, the summer of 2020 was not the image that Hampton wanted. But that was condoned by every single person sitting at that table with the exception of 2 people when it happened. So we want the image of Hampton to be right, then we have to be transparent and we have to look at everything equally, and everyone has the right to be in that downtown and hold whatever sign they want. And as selectmen, we take an oath to the